Hey, welcome to Taylor Kia, Findlay's first ever Coaches Chronicles here at Taylor Kia Findlay. Our very first guest ever is head coach of Findlay High School's Matt Pease.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you being our first guest, and we're really excited about doing this video takes and stuff for the community and everybody here. We do this in our northern stores right now, and we wanted to get down into Hancock County because we have a bunch of really good coaches that we want to talk to and get the word out for you guys and help spread whatever it is that you can for the high school teams and stuff like that. So you have a lot more ties here than just simply being a coach at the Tennessee Titans to the Northwest Ohio area, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Findlay, born in Blanchard Valley, grew up in Bowling Green, went to Bowling Green High School, grew up in the area. I have a lot of family in Hardin County and still around this area, so definitely a lot of ties to this area. It's great to be back around.
That's awesome. And then I understand you went to college at Kent State.
I did. So after graduating from Bowling Green, went on to Kent State, was a walk-on at Kent State.
That's awesome. And what position did you play while you were there?
I didn't play much, but it was I was a quarterback growing up, and so I was the Josh Cribbs year. So Josh Cribbs was far more talented than I was.
Oh, okay. So you were there when Josh was there.
Yeah. Yep.
And then from there, that kind of took you to a couple different places, including you had a head coaching job and 2 years at a high school in Colorado, correct?
Yep. So I was at Green Mountain High School for 4 years overall. I was the head coach for 2 years. So as soon as I left Kent State, moved out to Colorado, did some other jobs and had a couple coaching jobs, but I became a head coach at Green Mountain before going on to Tennessee.
And then 2 years you spent with the Tennessee Titans, and what all positions and stuff did you coach there?
So the first year I was quality control, kind of worked with the outside linebackers. Second year I was assistant D-line coach and continued my quality control role. So stayed on defense, defensive assistant, worked with outside linebackers, D-line, that kind of area.
Awesome. And then, of course, made the decision to step away from the NFL ranks and how exactly did it all come about that you ended up coming to Findlay, Ohio, and coming back to where you're from again?
Yeah, well, it was, a couple people had mentioned that this job had come open and had still had ties to the area, and so they reached out and asked if I was kind of interested, and at the time we were in an AFC championship run, went all the way to AFC title game that year. And just talking with my wife and my family, it was important for us to kind of get back to a community and spending time with a lot of time with the family and just having an impact on kids. So it was something that was important to us, and we thought Findlay would be perfect for that. We just know what a great community it is, and just growing up in this area and having family around, it was just, we still loved this place a lot, and so, it wasn't necessarily always easy. It was a tough decision. Your NFL job in Tennessee was great organization to work for, and we were having a lot of success. But when it came down to it, we thought it was what was best for our family and being able to be a part of this community.
That's awesome. And your wife Emily, correct?
Yes.
And I understand that at the same time, not only did you guys trying to make this decision, there was a child being born?
Yeah, so we had our daughter Adeline in February, so same time all this was going on. AFC title game, daughter born, moved to Ohio, so it was a pretty intense couple months there. But yeah, my daughter Adeline is 9 months, and I have a son Wyatt who's 5 years old, and so we're excited for them to be here too.
Wyatt a big football fan as well?
He does. He loves all sports, so he's all go all the time. So whatever sport is in front of him, he loves doing it, and so he's got nothing but energy.
That's awesome. So you, not only being the football coach at Findlay High School, you also are a teacher, correct?
Correct.
You're teaching social studies and then also Automotive Trojan Academy. So
correct. Yep.
What all does that entail?
So social studies wise, I'm a world history teacher, and so part of my day is in the traditional classroom. And then Trojan Academy, I have students that I work with in Trojan Academy that are working through their courses online, and so that's a big role for me in the building, and assistant athletic director, assistant strength coach, on top of being head coach. So it's there's definitely many roles to fill, and it's been exciting.
What do you think are probably the biggest differences? I mean, I know obviously professional level players, and then there's college, and you've been from high school to the NFL and then now back to high school. But what do you think the big advantages are of helping the high school kids over being there with the pros?
Yeah, I mean, both you get to have an impact, but this is important just because you get to have a long-lasting impact and have an influence and use football as a tool to improve lives and really help them succeed into the future. Coaching at the NFL level is amazing, and you get to build great relationships as well. But at the end of the day, those guys have families, and they go home to those families, and they're, they have their own life. Where this, you can kind of have more of an impact to help guide kids either with what they want to do after high school, or just have a positive impact in decisions that they're making. So I just feel like you can have more influence long term being a high school coach.
It's awesome. One of the things, obviously me being one of the statisticians and stuff and helping out with the team this year, I get to be one of the guys that goes to all the games and travels with the team and stuff. So that was kind of nice, even though we had the whole COVID situation this year. And I asked one of the coaches in the middle of the season, how are the kids actually responding to you? And it was kind of funny. His response was, they spend more time every day trying to keep up with your energy and level on a daily basis. That it's just actually, he said, you notice that it picks up that they have a lot of fun just trying to keep up with you every single day, because you're not necessarily so intense, but just so energetic every single day in practice, and you just want to get the best out of all the kids, which I thought was a great compliment coming from a coach, and that was a couple weeks into the season, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, that's great.
So speaking of the season, and obviously this was one unlike any other, the COVID whole issue and everything we've got going on with kids right now. I know we have kids out of school right now because of COVID issues. How did that all entail with getting everything going with the kids, and how did they react to everything they had to go through on a daily basis, and how were you able to keep them positive, because we did end up getting a chance to play 5 games?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was tough. I mean, there's a lot to do, but you got to give the kids credit. They didn't miss a beat. I mean, they knew what they had to do, and it meant something to them, and so it was important to them to have a season. And so anything we kind of threw at them with protocols or anything that we had to do, they didn't hesitate to do that, because it just meant so much to them. And so as tough as it was, and it was kind of just learning on the fly. I mean, it was a new season for us, and learning some of the things, and you kind of had to retrain yourself on how to coach and do some drills and stuff like that, just to continue to social distance. But the kids are resilient, and they wanted to have it, and so anything we asked of them, they really gave their best effort. And I thought we did a great job with that, coaching staff included. It was just this is what the expectation is, and it's the new thing that we got to accomplish this season. And so that everybody ran with it, and so it was great to get 5 games. Obviously, we didn't feel it was enough. We wanted a lot more. But you look at the spring seasons, and they didn't get to have a season, and so we feel fortunate we got the 5 games we got, and got to go out and play with their brothers. And so obviously we would have liked a lot more, but it was overall it was great. It was a great experience for them.
So speaking of the season, the track, Three Rivers Athletic Conference that we're in, it's extremely competitive. You didn't get a chance to see every team, but you did get a chance to see a few that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But what do you think of the competition level that we're in the track? Yeah,
I mean, it's an incredible conference. We love playing in this conference. I mean, each week is a challenge. Really, there's a lot of great coaches across the board, tons of talent all over the field. You see that with the private schools, and even week in, week out with the public schools. It's just each week is going to be a challenge, and so we love that. It's you got to bring your A game every week, and we're excited to continue to move forward and get to play all those other teams. We wish we would have been able to play each of them and had a full conference schedule. But we're excited. We're excited to go out and compete with the best and improve what we're capable of.
It's awesome. So, as far as the season goes, I know we started off the season with a great win against Whitmer, somebody we haven't beaten in a few years. And
right.
They tend to always be a little bit bigger school than us, but I know I seeing those kids all excited in the middle of the field after the game, and how excited you were, and I seen you guys after the game. Talk a little bit about just getting off to that start and beating Whitmer right off the bat.
Yeah, well, we didn't know. I mean, you don't know what to expect. We didn't have a scrimmage this season, and so usually kind of have 2 scrimmages to kind of get a gauge of where you're at as a football team and where you need to improve, and we didn't have that. And so going into that game, we were excited to go out and be able to play. We've been going a while and just hoping for the best, that we were going to be able to have a season. So we had a ton of energy, and the kids played with great effort that game, and it was a huge win for us just because the kids realized that we're capable of beating anybody, and so Whitmer is obviously a perennial power, and so for us to get out of the gate like that was a great jump start to our season. And they're a really well coached football team, so for us it just meant a step in the right direction, and so it was something to build on. And it continued. I mean, even into week 2, we played an incredibly talented Fremont team who can score a lot of points in a hurry, and so that was a big win as well. And so we got off to a great start, and it was just rewarding for the kids. They had put in a lot of effort to make sure that they had a season, so to be able to go out and compete, and get a couple wins right out of the gate was important just for, you know, the effort that they were putting in.
That's awesome. And then rivals, every school has one.
Yep.
We have a couple.
Yep.
All right. Fremont Ross, Lima Senior, they're two of our rivals that we play constantly every year in the track, and we did get a chance to play them this year. So even though the season was down, I think the kids are probably still excited they get to brag on the fact that they beat their rivals, right?
Yeah, that's right. And Fremont, I mean, they're a young, talented team, and so that was a big win for us. And you know, the Lima game, we were coming off of our quarantine for 2 weeks, and they're fast and physical. I mean, that's a really talented team as well. And so, you know, when it comes to rival games, that it's going to be a hard-fought game. And so the kids did a great job of, you know, going out and competing and getting 2 important wins for our program.
That's awesome. So, getting to the playoff game, everybody got a chance to be in the playoffs this year, which is another thing that was a little different from the COVID. The schools had a chance to elect out or go to the playoffs. We would have qualified for the playoffs anyway, you know, the season that the kids were having. And then it seemed like the Springboro game, you couldn't have found a more matched up team that was very similar to who we were. I mean, I seen it on the stat sheet that mathematically everything across the board was the same. They got the better end of two more touchdowns over 2 field goals for us, but other than that, I thought the kids competed pretty well. And I guess, how did they end their season that way?
Yeah, I mean, give credit to Springboro. They're a great football team, really well coached, and they, you know, got us that day. But we felt we didn't necessarily play our best game, but the kids knew we were capable of more, but they were excited that we got to go out and play such a big time game like that. You know, a couple penalties in the first half took away some drives and some momentum. And so we went into that game tied at halftime. You know, I thought we had a good game plan for the second half, but give them credit. I mean, they came out and ran the ball, went outside zone on us the whole second half, and we had a hard time stopping it. So, you know, it just didn't go our way, and, you know, get a couple of playoff games at home so that we can continue to build this program. But, you know, the kids should be proud of themselves. They played with great effort this year, fought through adversity of quarantine, you know, and so not the uncertainty of playing, and so they kept fighting. And so give our kids a lot of credit.
Athlete-wise, I understand that our junior class is pretty well loaded. We have a lot of great athletes in our junior class, and then if I'm not mistaken, our freshman class does as well?
Yeah, I mean, each of the classes have their own talent. The junior class is talented. You know, we have a big job to fill next year. We're graduating 4 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen are graduating, and so both sides of the ball, the lines are going to have to be, you know, there's going to be some opportunities there, some competition to step up and be starters. But across the board, I mean, our junior class is talented, sophomores are talented, freshmen are a really big class, 8th grade's a really big class, and so it's a bright future. We got a lot of kids coming, and we're excited about them and their abilities, and so we just want to keep this momentum rolling.
Awesome. It sounds like you're going to have good numbers over the next few years.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we grew this year in numbers. Next year we're going to be even more, and so hopefully we'll continue that trend and you know, and continue to build the program.
That's awesome. So community-wise, you know, we're doing this video obviously so people can get to learn a little bit more about you. But what is it that you think the Findlay community, having really not get a chance to see the kids play this year, but going into next year as we hopefully get out of these COVID issues and other things and lead into the 21 season, what do you see that the community and Findlay High School student fans can just, how can we help you, the coaching staff, the football team, the program, the athletic department? I mean, how do you see us finding a way to help you out?
Yeah, just continued support. Obviously this year with the attendance, you know, not being able to get into games, it was difficult, but hopefully next year we're back to more of a traditional style game night and just people show up. You know, these kids are putting in the effort, attacking the weight room right now, attacking the classroom, and so it's important that we, you know, that we continue that trend and keep moving forward as a program. And if we can get the fans to show up and be loud on game nights and really create an atmosphere at Donnell, you know, that's gonna help our kids even more. And so we're excited to be able to get back to kind of that role and play in the best stadium in the track. And so, you know, fan-wise, we just need people there, you know, and hopefully we can get back to that next season.
Awesome. All right. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just excited to be here. You know, really proud to be a part of the Findlay community, and my wife's excited to be here, our family. So looking forward to getting to know people more as we get out of COVID, and excited for the future of the Findlay Trojans.
Awesome. So there you go, Taylor Kia Findlay fans. Our first ever Coaches Chronicles here at Taylor Kia Findlay. Hopefully we're going to have more and more of these, and stay tuned.